Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So I've been trying to clean out my backlog. I constantly buy new games and then play those while the older games that I have just collect dust. So I decided to go ahead and not tackle an older game. I had decided that I'm gonna play a new game that I just bought. As you could probably tell by the title and thumbnail of the video, it's pretty obvious what game I'll be talking about today. Today, I'll be tackling
Let's rock, baby.
Yep, that's right, Devil May Cry. I have never played a Devil May Cry game before. One of my coworkers absolutely loves DMC and recommends me to play it very often. So I finally bit the bullet and dove into the first game. After about 2 weeks, I finally finished my playthrough of DMC 1. So, what did I think about the game? Well, I've got some things to say. Some good, but also some bad. Let's start with the good. DMC 1 came out in 2001, so I wasn't expecting some groundbreaking story by any means, but I quite enjoyed the story. The game was extremely campy and super predictable, but I honestly liked a lot of the goofy ass writing. The entire game and the story just reeks of like early 2000s edginess and badassness in the storytelling, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. With a lot of the games wanting to be super serious stories, it's nice to see a story that just doesn't really take itself too seriously sometimes. Of course, there's still some serious moments, but it's not like super tense. The story is completely fine and does its job just the way it needs to. The combat feels pretty decent. It's a little clunky, but it was originally a PS2 game. Every PS2 game is clunky. I should probably bring this up before I talk more. I am talking about this game in regards to how it holds up today in 2025. Of course, in 2001, if I said anything bad about this game, I probably would have gotten crucified already. However, it's 2025. I'm sure that I can talk about this game and how actually flawed it is, and it's not as perfect as people think, right? Right? Going back to the combat, despite being clunky, I still see some potential in there. I just know that the people making the DMC franchise kept improving on the combat to make it better and better with each entry. There are some problems that I have with the combat, but I'll save that for when I talk about the bads of the game. I did enjoy walking around Mallet Island. I thought some of the environmental pieces were pretty cool, and I thought it was an interesting location to just walk around in. I will admit, I did get a little lost, but that's just mainly because I'm a big dum-dum who gets lost in his own hometown. I am absolutely horrible with directions, I swear. One little fun fact that I thought was pretty cool about DMC 1. DMC 1 was supposed to be Resident Evil 4. This reminds me of how Xenogears was supposed to be Final Fantasy 7. I like it when games are supposed to be other games, but then end up branching off and becoming its own thing. I have not played Resident Evil 4, or any of the other Resident Evil games, and who knows if I ever will, to be honest. However, I have seen gameplay of Resident Evil 4, and just from the gameplay alone, I can see the similarities between Resident Evil 4 and DMC 1. That was a nice segment. Did you guys like this section of the video? I'm sorry to say that it's over. because I am out of nice things to say about this game. The bads of this game outweigh the goods of this game, in my opinion. I do understand it is an early 2000s game, so I probably shouldn't be too harsh on it. However, I do not care. DMC1 is a fucking mess all around, and about 80% of the game is either a hassle to play or borderline unplayable at times. A pretty major thing that I've heard criticisms for is the camera controls. They were absolutely right. The camera is absolutely fucking atrocious, and the camera alone makes the game 100 times harder than it should be. The camera shifts to a different position at almost random times. It gets so frustrating when you're fighting for your life, trying not to die in a boss fight. And then boom, the camera just changes and you're dead. Just look at this shit. How on earth am I supposed to play this game if the camera position just keeps shifting? What's also a pretty bad thing is that when the camera changes, so do the controls, confusing you and getting you killed by the dumbest stuff that should not kill you. Then, after dying to the camera controls, you think you'd respawn normally, right? Right? Wrong! The yellow orb system is a fucking dog shit system and one of the worst respawn mechanics I have ever seen. These are consumables, by the way. If you die, you use a yellow orb in order to respawn back in the previous room in order to do the boss again. But what if you run out of yellow orbs? Well, tough shit. Have fun doing the whole fucking level all over again. That's right, after you run out of yellow orbs, that's game over, and you'll have to restart the level all over again. I can't even get the rest of my upgrades for my devil trigger or my weapons because I have to keep spending my red orbs on buying yellow orbs. Throughout the entire game, I never had the double jump ability. It's stupid and dumb and I hate it. You know what else is stupid and dumb and that I hate? The tutorials. Just kidding. I can't hate the tutorials. If there are none. Seriously. There's fucking nothing. I figured out most of the stuff by myself. And then I realized later when I was playing that if I go into the menu and I check the weapon, it gives me a very brief summary of how they work. They almost all forgot to mention the most important thing, the use of the right bumper. I played on PC, but I was using an Xbox controller. The right bumper is probably one of the most important things in DMC1. That's how you shoot the gun. That's how you roll and dodge. That's how you do most of your combos. That's how you file your taxes. That's how you book a one-way trip to Nepal to become a Sorcerer Supreme. And so on. You basically need the right bumper for everything. It's not really a bad thing, it's just kind of weird. Using right bumper for the sword combos makes sense and I'm fine with that one, but everything else needing the same button is kind of odd. The underwater controls sucked ass too. Luckily, they weren't in the game for too long, so I didn't have to worry about them too much. But when I did play through those sections, it was the absolute worst. Devil May Cry 1 certainly was an interesting game. It started a franchise that many people love to this day, now myself included. I may have not liked this game that much, but it wasn't the absolute worst game experience I've ever had. Don't get me wrong, I'm never touching this game ever again. Never in a million years. One playthrough is honestly enough for me. This game had a lot of potential, and back in the day, it seemed pretty popular enough to get 4 more games made out of it for a franchise. There was also a lot of bad in this game that I pray either doesn't show up in future games, or they found a way to make the game not as difficult to play. I give Devil May Cry 1 a 5 out of 10. Just a little thing that I want to mention afterwards. The lines that Dante has in this game are absolutely fucking hilarious and actually made me laugh out loud.
I should have saved you. I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
I honestly do hope that this keeps up because I need more shit like this. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Sometime soon, I will be making more videos on the Devil May Cry series as I play through them. So, subscribe so you don't miss these videos.